Hello friends, welcome to Buried Truths, where the dust of time is swept away and history's deepest secrets rise to the surface. Let's view the video. For decades, the world's oceans have concealed countless secrets from World War II. Among the most haunting are the submarines that vanished beneath the waves, without a trace. These weren't just machines, they carried men, missions, and mysteries. Now, new deep-sea discoveries are bringing these ghostly relics back to light. In 2024, marine archaeologists, using high-resolution sonar, mapped a remote section of the Pacific Ocean. What they found shocked even the experts: a cluster of sunken WWII submarines resting miles beneath the surface. Some were intact, others shattered by battle. All had been lost for over 80 years until now. These submarines weren't found by accident. Years of careful research, declassified military records, and advanced underwater robotics made the discovery possible. Using remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, explorers navigated the pitch-black ocean floor. Their cameras revealed hull markings, torpedo tubes, and eerie silence, frozen in time since the 1940s. Historians have long speculated about the fate of dozens of subs declared missing in action. Some believed they were sunk by enemy forces. Others suggested they ran aground or suffered catastrophic failures. But many simply disappeared. These wrecks may finally answer questions left unresolved for generations. What makes this discovery extraordinary isn't just the number of wrecks, but their location, far from known battle zones. Why were these submarines here? Were they running secret missions? Or did they fall victim to undisclosed skirmishes? Each wreck tells a different story, etched in rust, steel, and silence. The ocean has preserved these subs like underwater tombs. In many cases, periscopes remain raised, hatches sealed, and conning towers scarred by depth charges. Their discovery transforms forgotten war records into living history. These aren't just wrecks, they're memorials. A graveyard rediscovered by those unwilling to forget the past. As exploration continues, more wrecks are expected to emerge from the depths. This first chapter in the story of the submarine graveyard sets the stage for a broader truth. The ocean remembers what history forgot. In the darkest waters, the voices of the lost are finally being heard again. During World War II, submarines emerged as silent predators beneath the waves. Armed with torpedoes and cloaked in stealth, they hunted enemy ships with lethal precision. These vessels were critical to naval dominance, changing the course of the war from the Atlantic to the Pacific, often striking unseen and vanishing without a trace. Both Axis and Allied powers invested heavily in submarine warfare. Germany's notorious U-boats terrorized the Atlantic, sinking merchant convoys and warships alike. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy's fleet subs in the Pacific targeted Japanese supply lines, crippling the empire's ability to wage prolonged war. Submarines became weapons of starvation and attrition. Unlike surface ships, submarines operated in isolation. Crews lived in cramped, pressurized conditions, often submerged for days or weeks. They endured suffocating heat, stale air, and the constant threat of depth charges. Silence was survival. A single noise could give away their position and invite a swift, explosive death. Submarine tactics relied on stealth, patience, and precise timing. Commanders used periscopes sparingly, navigating by sonar and instinct. Attacks were often carried out under cover of night, with torpedoes launched silently through dark water. After striking, the sub would dive deep and escape, leaving destruction in its wake. Despite their power, submarines were vulnerable. One miscalculation, a mechanical failure, or an enemy destroyer could mean instant doom. Many subs vanished without explanation, struck by mines, ambushed, or lost to the crushing pressure of the ocean. Their silence became permanent, leaving families and historians to wonder what went wrong. By the end of the war, over 700 submarines were lost globally. The deep-sea graveyard discovered recently is believed to hold a fraction of them. These wrecks are not just remnants of steel, but symbols of a silent war fought in the planet's darkest corners, unseen, unheard, and unforgiving. Understanding The role of submarines in WWII helps us grasp the significance of these wrecks. They weren't just machines. They were strategic tools that shaped empires and cost thousands of lives. Rediscovering them now reopens a chapter of history too long, buried beneath miles of cold, silent sea. Not every submarine lost in World War II went down in a blaze of battle. Many simply disappeared. No distress calls, no debris, just silence. These vanishing submarines became wartime enigmas, frustrating military investigators and leaving grieving families without closure. Their fates remained one of the ocean's greatest wartime mysteries. Allied and Axis forces alike kept meticulous records of submarine patrols. When a vessel failed to return, it was often listed as overdue and presumed lost. Some vanished after their first mission. Others disappeared mid-patrol, far from enemy territory. The absence of evidence fed speculation. Was it enemy action, mechanical failure, or sabotage? One of the most famous cases was the USS Grunion, which vanished in 1942 near Alaska. It was missing for over 6 decades until it was found crushed on the ocean floor, possibly sunk by its own malfunctioning torpedo. Such tragic ironies were common, as untested technology often failed in real combat. In some cases, enemy navies claimed kills without knowing which submarine they had sunk. These uncertain victories were logged, but without wreckage or survivors, the truth remained elusive. Submariners were trained to disappear, and in many ways they became victims of their own invisibility. The German U-boat U-47 also disappeared. Without explanation in 1941, after its legendary commander sank the HMS Royal Oak. Despite many theories, including British depth charge attacks or internal explosions, no confirmed wreck has been found. These phantom vessels became legends, ghost ships still patrolling the deep. Over the years, family members of lost crew clung to rumors and post-war reports. Some believed their loved ones survived, captured or stranded on remote islands. But as decades passed, the truth seemed more unreachable. The discovery of these deep-sea wrecks may finally offer the answers they were denied for generations. Each vanished submarine now rediscovered offers not just historical insight, but emotional closure. They bridge a gap between past and present, mystery and memory. In revealing where and how they vanished, we honor not just the ships, but the silent sacrifice of their crews, lost, but now found. For decades, the ocean jealously guarded its secrets. Submarines lost during World War II rested in silence, beyond the reach of technology. But in recent years, breakthroughs in deep-sea exploration have changed everything. Using advanced sonar, robotics, and satellite data, researchers have begun uncovering what was once thought lost forever. In 2022, an international expedition launched a high-risk mission into the Pacific. Their goal: to investigate a suspected wreck site based on declassified military logs and oceanographic clues. At nearly 20,000 feet deep, the pressure was immense, the darkness absolute. But their tools were precise, and the discovery was historic. Remotely operated vehicle, ROV, descended into the abyss, its lights piercing black water. After hours of careful navigation, the team spotted it. A rusted conning tower emerging from the seabed. The hull was marked with corrosion, yet unmistakably wartime. Cameras captured every angle as researchers realized they had found a missing submarine. The sub's identity was confirmed by faded markings and structural features, torpedo tubes, propeller blades, even intact control panels. It was the first of many discoveries. Nearby, more wrecks were revealed, each with its own story. A forgotten graveyard had emerged, undisturbed since the mid-1940s. Marine archaeologists documented everything. Every rivet, hatch, and fragment was catalogued. These were not just sunken ships. They were time capsules, sealed by pressure and time. Some still had personal items inside: mugs, boots, even notes scrawled on bulkheads. It was as if time had simply stopped. This underwater battlefield stunned even veteran historians. The sheer number of wrecks, clustered in tight formations, suggested previously unknown wartime activity. Some subs showed signs of violent damage. Others seemed to have sunk quietly. Every find raised new questions about tactics, routes, and missions kept secret for over 80 years. These discoveries would not have been possible without global cooperation, navies, universities, and private explorers working together. It was history, science, and technology converging in the deepest corners of the sea. For the first time, we weren't guessing what happened. We were witnessing it, perfectly preserved on the ocean floor. When deep-sea explorers examined the newly discovered submarines, they found more than just wreckage. They uncovered secrets, entombed in steel. Every bolt, panel, and compartment held clues. These were not random ruins. They were wartime machines, frozen mid-mission. Their preservation offered a rare glimpse into the hidden operations of a global conflict. Inside one American sub, researchers found a sealed operations log. Though water-damaged, several pages were legible, revealing undocumented patrol routes and intercepted enemy transmissions. The log referenced covert missions never mentioned in official records, suggesting operations deeper and darker than history had acknowledged. The steel vessel was now a silent witness. German U-boat wrecks also yielded surprises. Some had unlisted modifications, extra sonar panels, unique torpedo configurations, and encrypted communication devices. These changes hinted at experimental technology or special operations units. Historians now believe some U-boats were involved in intelligence missions far beyond the standard Atlantic patrols. One Japanese submarine, discovered unusually deep, had been carrying a secret payload. Dismantled aircraft components likely, intended for a surprise reconnaissance mission. This reinforced long-rumored theories that Japan planned extended-range attacks using submarine-launched seaplanes. Until now, these claims lacked hard evidence. The wreck's steel chambers had preserved the truth. Even personal items told stories. In a Soviet sub, divers found a sealed tin of letters written by crewmen. Some were farewells, others expressed hope of survival. One letter described mechanical issues days before the vessel disappeared. These human touches transformed the wrecks, from steel war machines into emotional time capsules. Damage patterns on some subs also challenged official narratives. One American sub showed signs of internal explosion, possibly a sabotage incident or malfunctioning torpedo detonation. These details, invisible in wartime reports, only came to light through forensic deep-sea analysis. The steel preserved more truth than wartime headlines ever revealed. With each wreck surveyed, more layers of secrecy are peeled away. What was once buried under propaganda, censorship, and time is now exposed in rusted bulkheads and preserved compartments. These submarines are more than machines. They are locked archives, still protecting the forgotten pages of a brutal and complex war. Beneath layers of steel and sediment, the wrecked submarines held more than military secrets. They preserved the final moments of hundreds of human lives. Each vessel was not just a weapon of war, but a sealed world. Inside these silent tombs, explorers uncovered haunting traces of the men who never returned. Crew rosters found inside control rooms listed names now etched into naval memorials. Plates were still stacked in galleys, tools left mid-repair, and shoes rested neatly under bunks. These small details spoke volumes. Life on board ended abruptly. Time didn't fade their presence. It preserved their last ordinary moments in eerie clarity. In one U.S. submarine, divers discovered a chalkboard with the day's shift rotation still written. Another bore a birthday calendar, a reminder that even in war, life tried to continue. Messages scratched into walls. Remember home, stay strong, offered chilling glimpses into the mindset of men facing constant danger. Personal artifacts amplified the emotion. A harmonica, rusted but intact. A photo of a young wife, folded into a uniform pocket. A crucifix clutched in a bony hand. These objects outlasted flesh and fire, offering a human counterpoint to the cold machinery and military purpose of the submarines. Some subs held multiple remains, undisturbed. Since the moment the hull was breached, ethically and respectfully, these were documented but not removed. Researchers treated the spaces as war graves, not archaeological digs. For the families of the lost, the wrecks became sacred ground, answers to questions that lingered for generations. Letters from descendants poured in after the discoveries were made public. Some recognized names, others had heard stories but never had closure. Now, with visuals and exact locations, they could finally connect to the truth. For many, it wasn't just about knowing, they finally had a place to mourn. These silent tombs remind us that war is not just strategy and steel. It is human. Each submarine entombed a story of duty, fear, hope, and sacrifice. By rediscovering them, we revive those voices long silenced by the sea and ensure their memories echo far beyond the depths. As more submarine wrecks are discovered, a critical question arises. How do we protect these sites? These aren't just metal relics. They are war graves, historical artifacts, and emotional touchstones. Preserving them means balancing exploration with reverence, ensuring they remain undisturbed by looters, treasure hunters, and commercial salvage operations. International laws now recognize many wrecks as protected heritage sites. Agreements, like the UNESCO Convention on Underwater Cultural Heritage, safeguard them from unauthorized interference. Yet enforcement remains challenging. These submarines rest in remote waters, often beyond national jurisdiction. Monitoring them requires global cooperation, advanced tracking, and shared respect for their legacy. Marine archaeologists lead the charge, using non-invasive techniques like photogrammetry and 3D mapping to document sites without disturbing them. Robots and sonar capture high-resolution images, allowing experts to study structures without setting foot or fin inside. These digital archives preserve the wrecks even if nature reclaims them over time. Some wrecks are declared maritime, war graves by their countries of origin, granting them permanent protection. This status ensures no remains are disturbed and prohibits salvage. When a site is found, nations often hold solemn ceremonies at sea, military honors given decades late, but no less meaningful. Educational outreach plays a vital role. Documentaries, museum exhibits, and virtual reality tours allow the public to experience these wrecks respectfully. This transparency helps deter illegal exploration while spreading awareness about the historical and human importance of these sites. History is not just read, it is seen and felt. Yet nature is also a threat. Currents, corrosion, and marine life slowly consume the submarines. Conservationists now explore how to slow decay, coating metal, blocking oxygen, or using biodegradable sensors. These efforts aim not to freeze time, but to extend memory, preserving the battlefield long enough to educate future generations. The ocean once hid these submarines in silence. Now, as they resurface in global memory, we have a duty to protect them. They are not just wrecks, but legacies of bravery, innovation, and sacrifice. By preserving these underwater battlefields, we preserve a part of humanity's most defining and devastating conflict. If you're passionate about uncovering the forgotten stories of our past, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying the journey so far. And stay tuned because there's so much more history waiting to be unearthed, right here on Buried Truths.